Today I'm going to be showing you how to paint easy watercolour daisies. At the moment I'm showing you how to do it with my texture pen so that you can see quite clearly how to do it. So just draw a large sort of uneven circle and then a little circle, not in the centre but just off the edge, and then do loop-de-loops around it. It's quite easy. Make your circles different shapes and different sizes, and the centre part off to the centre if you wish. Little loops around, and one that's got its back to us. Now I'll show you with my Inktense Derwent watercolour pencil. You can't see it as clearly, but I'm just doing exactly the same I was doing before. Just keep those loops nice and big, and a group of 4 or 5, however many you wish. I'm using today my silver 88 number 12. Wet the paper around the daisies. You can use as much water as you like and use the tip of the watercolour brush to get into those little spaces between the petals. You may find there's a bit of a leakage there from the pencils, but that's okay because that'll be covered up later with the background. So just cover the whole thing. Now we'll look at using some phthalo blue green shade, a fairly light colour but a good juicy wash. You don't want it too dark, but you certainly want some colour. Once again, now on your wet paper with the wet paint, paint around the daisies. Let the colour flow across the paper. And once again, using the tip of the brush to go between those petals. It doesn't matter if it's not the same blue all the way across, because it means it adds interest to the work. Keep going until you finish the entire background, and then I actually came back with some stronger paint and strengthened the background. Let that dry till it's damp, not quite fully dry. I'm coming back with some green paint now, and it's damp on the brush and damp on the paper, so you get a lovely soft diffuse background. It's a little different to when you're painting wet into wet. It's just slightly more controlled, and you get this kind of feeling of mysterious leaves in the background. Now on my daisies, I'm making them wet again. I'm now mixing up some bright yellow and dropping the paint into the into the wet flower. Let the paint spread out. It doesn't have to go all to the edges because you want some variation on it there. Just reminding you that we did that wet into wet. Now I'm using some orange paint just to drop in the middle, and of course that's still wet, so it will spread out in an interesting little shape in the middle. Using just the tip of that brush. Fairly strong paint too. There we go. It'll spread out. Lovely. Let that dry. I'll put some little streaks in with a very fine brush if you wish. Also add more streaks with a watercolour pencil as you wish. Doesn't really matter if you don't want to do that. Then wait till it dries. Now we come back with much thicker paint. It's the Hooker's green, and it's dry paper and fairly thick paint. Try and make those streaks as interesting as you can, because you want some life in the painting. Now I'm coming back with my trusty Derwent Inktense pencil, putting in the stalks, in and behind the leaves, with some variation on coming down behind the leaf and then in front of it, and certainly some S-bends in it to make it more interesting. Once again, we do it with this one. You can use a brush if you wish. I just find this a lot easier and a lot more exact. Some little more marks in the centre, and finally I'm going to finish with a very thick mix of the yellow paint. It's almost dry, nearly straight out of the tube. You might need to wet it a little bit, but fairly thick, so it's onto dry paper, and as thick as you can make it. Add a little bit more colour to the centre and a few little dots, finishing off with some fine streaks for the petals, and we're nearly there. I'm using the little brush. There you have it. Lovely, easy daisies. Thanks for watching.